Hey, 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 thanks for tuning in to another episode of Let There Be Talk. This is a bitchin' episode, and it is Thursday, March 16th. This episode is brought to you by my fantastic sponsor, El Cajon Harley-Davidson. Don't get your motorcycle anywhere else. Fly into Southern California. It doesn't matter where you live. Get yourself a motorcycle. They're in San Diego area. They are the number one Harley dealer for me, and they will be for you. Do not go anywhere else. They got excellent motor clothes department. What else they got? They got killer service department. I'll be there Saturday. I'll be down there Saturday getting my bike serviced. It's getting the 1,000-mile service on that new Milwaukee 8 engine I'm riding, which is fantastic. I got the ape hangers on there. They did all the work. Hit them up if you just want to customize your bike now. Sometimes that just makes it all the better, you know? You got an old bike, you're tired of it, go get it customized. They can get paint jobs done. They can do whatever, bars, tanks, saddlebags, different rims, chrome front end, whatever you need. El Cajon Harley is the spot. My boy Greg Riley is down there, and he's waiting for your call. They sponsor this podcast now for almost a year. How cool is that? Hit them up, El Cajon Harley, on Twitter, Instagram, and their Facebook, and their website, elcajonharley.com. They've got $25 off all boots right now in March. March your ass in and get some boots. El Cajon Harley. How are you guys out there? We got a great bonus episode today. It's Thursday, and I decided to have my good friend on. Introduce yourself.
Hello, I'm Michael Devin.
Yeah, I love how you always do like semi-fucking, semi-Whitesnake action.
Michael. I hear you do a good impression.
It's so fucking hilarious. But yeah, I was texting you a couple days ago, a couple reasons. One of them was I was reading this thing in the New York Times, and it turns out it's the 50-year anniversary of the book The Outsiders.
Isn't that amazing? 50 years.
50 years, you know.
S.E. Hinton, man.
Yeah. And she's still, you know, of course she's still alive because she wrote it as a teenager, which is incredible.
Yeah.
Imagine, you know, writing that book as a teenager. It's just incredible, man. I mean, really capturing what you know, teenage angst is all about. And as if you watch, like, I love James Dean and I love Rebel Without a Cause, but when you watch that, it is really good and it describes a thing, but The Outsiders to me really blows it up, of the rich versus the poor, the you know, the socias against the greasers,
yeah.
and that whole kind of thing, which is it's kind of innocent because the greasers are kind of gangish, but they're not like guns, and of course some tragic happens in it by a gun.
Yeah.
But it's not like a gang now when you think about it. It's more of a brotherhood, and the socias are more of like, well, this is what we were born into. We're rich, and this is what we know, and the you know, it's kind of like you described growing up in Boston. It's just how the people were. They didn't know they were poor or rich. It was just where you lived.
Absolutely. I mean, where was that? In that they were in some rural.
It was in
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma, yeah. And interesting thing before we go on any further, which really blows my mind, is the house that the film was shot in.
Yeah.
Danny from House of Pain just bought it. And he bought it for $15,000.
No way.
Yeah, let me show you a picture of it. Here it is, recent, right there. There it is.
Oh my God.
The one that the guys lived in.
Would they come running out the front door,
yep.
man?
And then there she is, right there. Yeah, remember they hopped this fence.
I believe Tom Cruise does some kind of handstand.
Yep, off the fence.
Remember that?
Yeah, and he bought it. And he's putting together an incredible museum out there, which I would love to see.
Wow, so like an Outsiders.
Yeah, and he's got, look at all this.
Wow, there's Cruise right there.
Yeah, he's got all the memorabilia he's putting in there, and this is just incredible. He's a self-proclaimed Outsiders junkie.
Wow, that's amazing he bought that house.
Yeah, $15,000 in 2016, and he's putting it together right now. And you can read all about this in the New York Times. The house is in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And, you know, it's just so cool.
It looks just like
it. looks the same.
It's tattered. There's no grass on the front lawn.
Oh, it's all dirt.
The same fence is in place.
But look at that. I almost think I would live there for 15
grand. Put it on your credit card. Worry about it later. 15 grand?
Dude,
you kidding me?
that's my motorcycle right there.
Totally, dude.
You know what I mean?
It's a few bases right there.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, that's really something that he did that. That's really great.
So he's putting it together. And, you know, it's going to be a museum with all kinds of rare stuff in there.
God, that flash, seeing that house now. I'm seeing all the scenes in that movie now.
The movie is a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
Of course, Coppola, and who is my all-time. I always say no one touches Coppola as the best director of all time. You know, just for The Godfathers alone, and then you think about his other films. Apocalypse Now,
yeah.
and The Outsiders.
Yeah.
Come on, man.
And then he did a great movie called The Conversation.
Yeah.
Which with Gene Hackman and what's the woman who was Shirley Feeney on Laverne and Shirley?
Yeah,
that
Shirley.
actress.
Yeah.
Shirley was in the movie. I mean, that was a really great movie, The Conversation.
Yeah, he also did, what was it, Peggy Sue Got Married.
Yeah, Peggy Sue Got Married.
Did he do Rumblefish? I can't remember. That's a good question.
Yes,
actually.
he did do Rumblefish, and that's
Rumblefish.
why he took Matt
Dillon.
He really felt like, from what I remember reading about this, he felt like Matt was the Brando of the 80s.
Yeah. It's interesting because that's really what I want to get into.
Yeah.
Is Matt Dillon. I've been hounding him on Instagram to do the podcast. He's very mystique, which is awesome. He has a lot of mystique. He's never ever around. If you don't follow him on Instagram, it's pretty interesting. The guy's been working his whole life, and it's insane. As I started thinking about The Outsiders, he really, really is one of my favorite actors of all time and criminally underrated.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, in all that world, child actors usually do a couple films, and then they just spin out on drugs, and you know, then you read about them in the Inquirer. You know, they're living in like it's almost like the guy from Bad News Bears, you know, Kelly Leak, the guy, he's living out in Austin driving limos. He got lucky and got a second chance, but
he went through some hard times, Kelly.
Yeah, but all those guys do because you get blasted into this limelight.
Yeah.
And, you know, Matt Dillon's first film, 1979. So we're in 2017 right now. And you got to think, anybody that did a film in 79 that was maybe 14, 15, the odds are so against you.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's two things that happen. Either you get completely branded of like, oh, that's such and such. Let's say that's Bobby Brady.
Yeah.
You know, you're like that guy forever. Or you really never really wanted to do it, and your stage parents threw you into it, and then you spin out on drugs and just disappear. So with Matt Dillon, I believe, like you said, Coppola said, he was definitely the Brando or a James Dean, and he took acting so serious, you know?
It wasn't, and I don't believe, I could be wrong, but I don't believe it was his life's ambition. From what I recall, I don't know if it's lore or reality or truth, but he was discovered cutting class in high school when they were making the movie Over the Edge.
Yeah.
The casting director was sent out. Go to high schools in the area in New York. Find kids. Just find kids.
Yeah.
And she saw this kid running out of school.
Yeah.
And was like, well, what's that kid about? Because we need, rebellious kids. We need rebels.
Yeah.
She approached him, Matt Dillon. You know, it's like A Star is Born right there by cutting class.
That's the fucking shit you always hear about.
Isn't that
like
crazy?
The person in the mall.
Yeah.
You know, that was Ashton Kutcher or whatever. I guess he's in the mall.
Yes.
You know, that's crazy because, you know, imagine what Matt Dillon would have done if he didn't cut class that day. Because to me, Matt Dillon is so fucking part of my childhood. Yeah. And really, like, I didn't even really think about it till I did a couple films later in life of like, holy shit, these guys that are good, it's light years ahead of like, yeah, you can learn your lines and
Yes.
walk through the paces and work in TV and stuff. But these guys are next level, you know?
Absolutely. And to be a natural at it, which he was.
Yeah.
He didn't, as far as I know, he didn't get any official training when they threw him in front of the camera.
Yeah, I mean,
It was sort of like just
and he's killing it on Over the Edge. Now, if you haven't seen Over the Edge, and I brought it up many times
one of
to
my
people,
favorite movies of all time.
Yeah, right. It really is
Rock and roll.
One
It's
of the
just-
introductions to rock and roll.
Yes.
Man. Cheap Trick for
Yes,
sure.
absolutely. And the Power Age. This was Angus Young. If you there's a scene when you go through Carl's bedroom.
Yeah.
There's this big cutout of Angus Young from the Power Age album. And when I was a kid, I that was always excited me when I saw that. I was like, wow, because they stayed true to the year. The year was 1978 in the movie.
Yeah.
They kept it very relevant.
Oh,
And-
the bikes were relevant.
Yes.
The BMX bike. They had the Schwinn's and
Yeah.
stuff, the Stingrays,
Yeah.
and everything about that movie. Because right then I'm in junior high.
Yeah.
It's exactly what I was going through.
Yeah.
It's like fuck school.
Yeah.
Rock and roll up loud.
Yeah.
A little reefers around.
Yeah,
You know, some
little beer, little reefer.
Yeah, bad weed.
Yeah, Van Halen 1.
Van Halen 1.
Remember when they go to the party in the basement and they're cranking Van Halen 1? And I thought,
I
God.
mean, that movie wouldn't even happen now because they wouldn't have been able to get these rights to these bands.
No.
These bands were nobody at the time.
Nothing. Very, very small baby bands. Cheap Trick, same thing. Just
Yeah.
small baby bands at that time. You know?
Yeah.
Interesting.
It's incredible, you know.
Yeah.
And so if you haven't seen it, it's basically school and teenage rebellion at its best.
It is. That is actually the Kurt Cobain wanted Teen Spirit video to.
Look like that, emulate that. Oh, that's what they did.
Yeah, but
the
they
log.
yeah, kind of, sort of. But then
Yeah.
they turned it into the cheerleaders with the anarchy
Right.
thing in the gymnasium. But he really had this whole, write out of what that video was going to look like. But it was just too big an idea. But he wanted to completely mimic Over the Edge in that video.
God, that would have been great,
cool,
right?
And the
Hell, yeah.
kind of playing those
Yeah.
characters,
Wow, that would have been cool as shit.
Totally.
That's crazy. What's the guy's name that did that video? I've met him a few times. God, I'm drawing a blank on his name. But he shot that video, and that would have been amazing to talk to him about, like, hey, how come it didn't get done like that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Over the Edge.
Yeah, man. And then after Over the Edge, he does a movie, Little Darlings, which at the time,
Yeah.
everybody's in love with Christy McNichol.
She
Everybody.
was so hot.
She was so hot, and she's on a TV show called Family.
Yeah.
And her name was Buddy. Remember
That's
that?
right.
Buddy on Family.
My goodness, yes. But I mean, she was a hot commodity.
Yeah.
She was everywhere. That show was huge.
Yeah, and
she was.
Tatum O'Neal.
That's right.
Looking really smoking.
Yeah.
And it's a great premise. It's these girls go to camp and they want to see who can get laid first.
That's right.
It's so amazing.
Yeah. Oh, the problems of the 80s.
Yeah. And what a great film, man. This film is so
Yes.
funny because it turns out that Christy goes through with it and Tatum lies and doesn't. She's scared.
That's right.
Yeah, man.
Oh my God, I haven't thought of that movie in so long. And yeah, Matt Dillon was
Matt
in the
Dillon.
movie. Still had the same over the edge type haircut.
Yeah.
It was kind of
And
that.
of course, he's the guy that gets it.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
Wow. And Christy McNichol at the time, for real, was like every dude loved her, you
Yes.
know? And it's funny when you think about it, not your typical kind of not like Phoebe Cates or whatever, Fast
Right,
Times,
right.
like really crazy hot. But there was something about her that really was like that suburbs neighbor girl that
Yeah.
you fell in love with, like
Yeah.
as a teenager.
Absolutely. And her eyes. She had great eyes.
Yeah. Isn't that wild?
Yeah, that is fun.
Yeah.
She was like every pre-teen's kind of
Absolutely.
crush.
Absolutely.
It was that.
I watched that
puppy
dumb
dog
show every week.
Yeah,
just
I remember watching it.
And she had the brother on there, that show, and he became kind of like a sex symbol. Like you'd see him
Yes,
on
he did.
Tiger Beat and
That's
stuff.
right. Yes, he did.
Yeah, it was hilarious. Matt Dillon, there he is.
But
you know?
then, and then that took him off into. Then I believe after that movie, because he was kind of a bad boy in that, but not to the extent of which he would become after that movie, I think, because then he started just becoming.
Well, he does My Bodyguard.
Yes,
and he plays that fucking super bully,
Moody.
Yeah, the super bully
with the slick back hair. He was great as that character. Man.
He fucking killed it.
Owned it.
He killed it.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
What a great flick that was, Chris Makepeace.
Yeah. If you haven't seen My Bodyguard, it's basically about a kid who's getting bullied and he hires a bodyguard. And who's like this thug, and they become good friends.
Isn't it Vincent? The guy who plays his bodyguard is.
He's
Vincent.
He's a big old goof. Yeah. Here it is, right here. His name is. Let's see. Is it? Shit. Here we got Chris Makepeace, Adam Baldwin, Matt Dillon, Hank Sales. Who played the bodyguard? It's tough because they show photos now, and you're just like, who the fuck is this guy?
No, I swear it is. It's Vincent, what's his name, who went on to be...
This is him, Adam Baldwin. Look, there he is.
Sorry, you're right. It is Adam
That
Baldwin.
is him. Look at him, man.
I always get him confused with...
Holy shit, he was in Full Metal Jacket. Is he Pyle?
Yes, he's Gomer Pyle.
Oh, okay. Here he is. Yeah, man.
Yes,
Fuck, he's Pyle.
I'm sorry. And you know who I always get him confused with?
What?
Vincent...
that guy.
D'Onofrio.
Yeah.
I always get those two guys confused, but yes, he's Gomer Pyle
God,
as
that
well.
Pyle, you fucking ass. Wow, man. What a fucking role for this guy, man.
He didn't want, he was the tragedy because he didn't want to be the tough guy. He didn't want to be the bodyguard.
Yeah.
He was a big kid, and he had a reputation that preceded him because he was, allegedly, he was guilty of his brother's murder or killing his brother or something, or an accident.
But so he was more known as a scary dude.
Yes,
but
like
he wasn't a
you.
fighter or anything.
No, he wasn't a violent guy. He liked motorcycles. That was his thing. He wanted to build motorcycles.
Yeah, and they go on the rides.
Yes, and they form this bond and this friendship, and then he finally opens up about what happened with his brother.
Yeah,
and you can really feel the pain there. And then Moody, being such a punk, hires his own bodyguard named Mike.
Yeah.
Who shows up all buff, bald, shaved head.
He's crazy.
So you think you're a tough guy?
Yeah. That is incredible,
Why don't you
right?
show me how tough you are, tough guy.
Just
talk like that.
Just beats him.
He starts breaking his bike down. Remember? Yeah, is this your bike? Let me take
It's so
your bike
sad.
For a ride. Let me take your bike for a ride.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't do anything.
I know.
He wouldn't do anything. He just sat there, and the guy kept pushing him. You don't look so tough. I don't know, Moody. He doesn't look so tough to me.
He tears his bike apart, and you're so sad.
Yeah, because he remember that was their whole adventure together, was going to the junkyards and rifling through all these parts to find
what a fucking film, man.
Yeah, and then
it pulls on your heartstrings.
It sure does, dude.
You're like, that's his bro, and they're tearing his bike apart. Matt Dillon's evil as fucking this movie.
And I couldn't help but be mad at Chris Makepeace. I was like, you shit, man. Look what you did. You entered this guy's world and destroyed it.
Unbelievable, right?
And Martin Mull as his dad.
Oh, yeah, Martin Mull.
The hotelier, or whatever he was. He was a restaurant manager.
Yeah, just didn't care about him at all. Oh, my God.
And that old lady, who was her name? Edna, whatever, she was in all the 80s movies, and she talked like this in all the 80s movies, that old lady. She was in like Every Which Way You Can and Every Which Way But Loose, and she was in Harold and Maude.
Oh.
She was in Rosemary's Baby. You know.
Rosemary's Baby.
Oh, what was that lady's name? You know who I'm talking about.
Let's see here. I'm looking up her name here.
Oh, man. She was classic.
I don't know, man. I don't recognize the name.
Yeah, she was in all kinds.
She played the mom?
No, she played this lady.
I don't remember that.
It was Martin Mull's mom. She played the grandmom.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Granny.
Yeah. Ruth Gordon.
Oh, Ruth Gordon.
Yes, that was her name, I do believe.
She's not even. Oh, here it is.
Ruth
full cast.
Gordon.
Oh, yeah. Okay, here we go. Let's get a look at her.
And she had that voice.
Here she is right here.
Full New York kind of.
Grandma. She played Grandma.
Yeah, she had that Long Island accent.
Here she is right here. She died in 85. Wow. She died like right after the movie.
Well, she was by that point. I mean, she did when she was in Harold and Maude, she was already
Rosemary's Baby.
Yeah. I mean, she was an accomplished actress, and she was great.
What a creepy film. She did a shitload of Newharts for a whole year, Grandma. She played Grandma.
She played Mad Grandma, yeah.
Yeah.
And but yeah, that was sort of the
That film really also shows you some deep acting on Matt Dillon, because he's plays this fucking weirdo, man, just like uncool, like asshole bully, and it's pretty dark, you know?
Yeah, because he doesn't ever relent. That's the other thing. You don't ever get a picture.
Yeah, you don't see any good side.
No, so you can't empathize at all with this character. It's just darkness.
Yeah.
And they name him Moody. I mean,
Moody.
Yeah.
1980.
Yeah, 1980, man.
It's crazy because Little Darlings and My Bodyguard come out in 80. So this guy, after Over the Edge, is up and running.
Yes,
man.
he is.
He's like 2 films in 80, you know what I mean? Awesome. Then he does a couple things I haven't seen. Liar's Moon, I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Really?
Wow, yes, I do.
Wow.
Oh, my goodness.
That was
another...
and then he does Tex, both in 82.
Wait, I thought Tex came after Outsiders. Am I wrong?
Well, no. Well, it says here 82 because Outsiders comes. Now they could have shot it in 82
And then released it. And then released
Right.
it after, maybe, because that's another S.E. Hinton book.
But once we get into the Outsiders, now we're talking about probably one of the best roles, that I saw growing up as a kid doing.
Absolutely, like that movie.
I wanted to be him.
Yeah, that movie had that movie had a profound effect on me and other kids in my neighborhood, because you're talking early 80s, right?
Yeah.
And we're all kind of we're the last. Most of my friends were the babies of the family, so
Yeah.
our parents just stopped caring at that point because they're 3 deep, 4 deep. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm a junior in high school, and I'm heavy into rock and roll.
Yeah, and that was the thing.
Can't stand school.
Yeah.
I'm like, what am I doing?
Yeah, and that was the thing about The Outsiders, because you were comparing that to Rebel Without a Cause, and I think the difference was, not only was it more relevant to our time being in the 60s as opposed to the 50s, but there was a rock and roll element to The Outsiders that didn't exist in Rebel Without a Cause.
No.
When that movie opens, that opening shot is so cool. It's that long shot of Dylan and Macchio and C. Thomas Howell, and they're walking down the street, and what's playing is Gloria by Van Morrison and Them, which is kind of one of the very first...
Oh yeah,
that thing's
like
bordering on
rock.
punk rock.
It's like a dirty rock.
It's real,
track.
and his voice is. I mean, it embodies
it's like,
punk.
Get around midnight.
Yeah,
it's almost transistory sounding.
Yes, yes, and it's like, and that song, when you think of it historically, I mean, that song spawned all kinds of bad attitude behaviors in rock and roll, because people heard it and went, "Wow, what's this guy on?"
Yeah.
But that scene, that opening scene, just was like, okay, this is rock and roll.
Yeah.
This isn't Boy Meets Girl or some. I don't even care about the tragedy yet. I'm hearing rock music right now, and that's badass.
Yeah.
Blue jeans and denim and greasy long hair.
Boots.
Yeah, and the boots.
The drive-in movies.
Yeah.
Yes. And really what it also touches a lot on is parents just not fucking having time for kids.
That's right.
And, I related that to a lot in the 80s, because that's when, 70s is when this film takes place in the 50s. But you start relating to it because in the 70s and 80s is when divorce really kicks in high gear in America, where it wasn't like before, like a couple got divorced. It was like, whoa, weird. But then after a while, everyone's divorced, and it's shitloads of kids at home solo. And that's what this feels like, of course, because what's his name's bringing up his brothers, Patrick Swayze.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, bringing up the brother that like he's.
Well, yeah, their parents died in a tragic train accident.
Yeah, so he's the dad.
Yeah, he's now the patriarch. But then you had Johnny.
Yeah.
Whose parents fought all the time, which is why he went and slept in the park. Which
Matt
is why
Dillon's dad is fucking Tom Waits. He doesn't give a fuck.
He's in a whorehouse.
Yeah, he works in a fucking casino whorehouse. I mean, this
great cameo by Tom Waits.
Just something to get out of here.
Yeah.
Oh my
so
god.
Good. So
Dallas Winston. an incredible name.
Yes, they all had such great names.
Yeah, Pony Boy.
Pony Boy Curtis and Soda Pop Curtis.
Yeah.
Derry.
Yeah, what great, cool.
Two-Bit. Which was Emilio Estevez.
Yeah, yeah, man.
Where he's sitting on the floor in that very house that guy bought for $15,000.
15 grand.
And the young Tom Cruise walks by and says, "Beer for breakfast, Two-Bit?" Because he was on the floor with like half a cake and a beer watching Mickey Mouse on TV,
And they're getting off on it so much.
Yeah.
Like the innocence of those guys,
Yeah, absolutely, man.
It's wild when you think about how cool Matt Dillon is in this movie, man. He must have been so fucking fired up to land that part, because to me that is the outlaw. He's like the Bon Scott of the movie. Totally. You don't understand, who is this guy? He's not made to be on the planet long.
No. He's not long for this world.
He's only
at all.
like 16. It's supposed to be like 16 in the film, or 15, but he's easily like 40 in the soul. Totally. He's so troubled.
He's so troubled. And that last scene, man, when he goes into that drugstore
and gets the magazines.
Yeah, I forget who the guy is behind the counter. It's another cameo. That guy, I think he was.
He's like, you got to pay for that.
Yeah, a bodybuilder or something. I don't know who that guy was, but that scene, that's great acting in that, where he's running his hands down the magazine.
Yeah, he's just fucking troubled.
He's looking for it now.
Yeah.
He's looking for death,
It's funny. I had a guy in the neighborhood when I was growing up. There's always a kid in the neighborhood that is kind of like, who is that guy? For some reason you don't know. Yeah. Dads beat him or whatever. I had a guy like that, man. His name was Danny Key. I've talked about him before, but he would just be on the front lawn. And he would be in like a full fucking gear, like kung fu outfit, no shoes on, nunchuck practicing in the front, like a Vietnam vet, but only like 15, like out there. And people were like, that guy's weird as fuck, man. Yeah. I don't even know what happened to him. He just disappeared one day, they moved or whatever, but it was like, that guy's weird.
Yeah.
And that's what Dallas Winston felt like to me. Like, who is that kid?
Yeah.
And he's the same age as you, but he's totally like
completely different.
Way out there.
Yeah. I had a couple of kids in my neighborhood that were a little bit older and same, like broken home kids.
Yeah.
And there was one kid in particular. His name was Ricky. Ricky Roberts was his name. He's no longer here, but he embodied rebellion, and his mom was with a Harley rider.
Yeah.
I don't know if he was a Hell's Angel or not, but there were bikers that lived at the house.
Right, so, kind of like Mask.
Kind of. That's exactly what it was like. But Ricky was a badass, and he wore, leather vests and listened to, Diary of a Madman and things that were way beyond me at the time, you know what I mean? But he was a cool kid. You just didn't know when he was going to fly off the handle and do something crazy. He had a great heart, but he also had that element of danger.
Yep.
And there's something about that. There's this synonymous relationship between rock and roll and danger.
Yeah.
And you kind of can't have one without the other. Or if you are prone to getting involved in some kind of dangerous activity or rebellious activity, rock and roll is a great soundtrack to whatever you're doing that you're not supposed to be.
It pumps it up.
Yeah, you're not listening to Mingus while you're out, in the woods having a bonfire, drinking beer.
Stereos.
Right. You know what I mean? Taking cassettes out of people's cars. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so that, just like you, I had the same kind of, that movie had the same kind of effect on me because it was around me. I was like, oh wow, that's kind of like what us kids are. It was just in the early '60s. I think that movie was early '60s. But
is that what the time?
I want to believe. I
thought it was '50s.
I did too.
Here it is, right here.
I did too, but I think it's like '63.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because it really feels 50s to me.
Yeah.
Because of the look and everything.
Yes, but I think...
And the drive-in,
Yes.
Let's see. So, let's see when it's set. It's set in, the book's 50 years old this week, Let me see. It was first published in 1967. Wow.
Yep.
So the book is like, I'm 1 year older than the book.
But she wrote it in
66, man. And 66, let's see here. Yeah, she wrote it at 17 years old, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to see when the time frame was of it supposed to be here, which is a bummer that I don't know this off the get, because I just figured it was 50s.
Yeah, it feels 50s, but it almost feels like it's like the tail end of an era. You know?
Yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean? Like the hair's a little longer, even though there's that.
The hair is longer.
Yeah.
It's interesting because some recently in the last couple of years, like a group of people have grabbed on. This book never faded away. And a matter of fact, the libraries of America, have made this book, because it's a read. You got to read it in high school, and it's a book that everybody loved to read, So they said recently that they were hitting her up saying, look, she was getting these letters that she felt, that people felt that there was a gay relationship between Johnny and Dallas, like undertones, And she said, they wrote up and said, why don't you just say that it was gay? Like you never come out about it. And she's like, gay? I was 15 years old in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That word didn't even exist.
Yeah.
She's like, quit. Look, you can go on with your fantasies, she said, however you want to look at the book. That's cool. But don't ever think that at 16 she knew what even that was.
Yeah, she's implying some kind of relationship.
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's funny.
That is funny how people...
Yeah, they like to just,
take it to the extreme.
Yeah. It's amazing, like not understanding a brotherhood, which is something deep.
Absolutely.
Something very deep.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the death of one is the death of the other in that story.
Exactly. It's so brutal, man. If you haven't seen it, it's a must. Let me see here. I was going to get into, of course, The Outsiders. Then he does Rumblefish.
With Mickey Rourke.
Yeah.
A young Mickey Rourke who was, who kicked ass. I want to say also, didn't Diane Lane was also in that as well.
Mickey Rourke, another absolute god to me, another underrated actor.
Yeah.
But Mickey Rourke was also like a new Brando, when you think about it.
Yeah.
Diner, Pope at Greenwich Village.
Yeah.
Of course, The Wrestler is just insane, But his
comeback.
He had a really good run there, early on. That crushed Barfly,
Yep. Absolutely.
And to me, he was my favorite. In the 80s, I was like, this guy's a fucking god. He rode Harleys. He hung out on Sunset Strip.
Yeah.
He partied. Stallone was in his crew or whatever. Those guys are living the life.
Yeah.
They're hanging at like, the Roxy and the Rainbow and shit with Steve Jones. You're like, what a crew.
Yeah, seriously.
You know what I mean?
Seriously.
Yeah, hell yeah. But okay, Rumblefish, then Flamingo Kid.
Now that was him. I think deliberately wanting to switch gears because I think this was smart on his part.
Yep.
He didn't want to become
the rebel guy.
Yeah, or the tragic character in every movie. Like, I'm going to die in this one, or I'm going to die in that one, or he wanted to break that mold. And I think it was a good move. I don't know how effective that movie was in particular, but it was such a departure. All of a sudden, he's in pink polo shirts and looking clean, and you know what I mean? Like he was suave,
it introduced me to that strange summer country club life,
totally.
Like, rich people, you're like, whoa, they go like to some place for the summer.
Where do you summer, lovey? It's like, what?
Yeah. And I really loved it because that was an interesting story, man. It's if you haven't seen Flamingo Kid, it came out in '84.
And it was such a movie of 1984, too, by the way.
It really
looks 84.
Yeah, absolutely, man. They really nail that whole preppy.
Oh, that's the thing.
The era of preppy.
Preppy.
The Beamer, the preppies.
The boat shoes.
The topsiders.
Yeah.
The fucking, Varnays are hitting hard. Varnays are hitting hard at that time.
That's right, dude.
Yeah. Hell
oh my
yeah.
God, don't take me
and
back.
then the Mercedes 450L is way in effect.
Wow, yeah.
You know, that kind of whole preppy thing hits. I remember because I grew up in the Bay Area, so it was always like, oh, those girls in Marin, the preppy girls, because the Marin girls were rich, you know? And it was like, oh, yeah, they're from Marin, so it's BMWs, you know what I mean, and all that. And the preppies, that's what it was. It went from socias to preppies.
That's it.
To yuppies when they get older.
Yes, to the yuppies. That's right. And in the career of what's his name is born. Oh man, he played the ultimate preppy in every '80s movie.
Oh yeah, that dude.
He's actually kicking ass now on a TV show.
The blonde guy.
Yeah,
what's his name? He played the dick in every film.
He played the dick in every movie, like Pretty in Pink and whatnot.
Yeah.
We're having a bad time remembering names today.
Well, the thing is, it's like I really wanted to concentrate on Matt Dillon. And then, of course, your brain gets going, and sometimes your brain works, and sometimes it doesn't. You know what I mean? Because when you see that guy, it's a lot like when I used to first watch Philip Seymour early on. It'd be like, you know the guy, Boogie Nights.
Yes.
You're always like, who is that guy? You know, almost famous.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then later on, when he completely kabonks you with Capote, you go, oh, yeah, Philip Seymour. I mean, you never forget his name.
No, you never forget his name after that one.
Yeah.
No, he
but
nailed
it's,
that.
It's like dudes like that, you know?
Absolutely.
It's, okay. Another thing that got me going about Matt Dillon.
Yep.
Is this week is South by Southwest.
Okay.
So in 1989, I'm at South by Southwest.
Yep.
And my buddy's like, hey, I didn't know. I was there for music. And he goes, it's also a film festival. I had no idea. And I was like, really? And he goes, yeah, we can go to the screening, Matt Dillon's new film today. You want to go? And they premiered Drugstore Cowboy at the Paramount Theater.
Wow.
And it was, first of all, one of the best theaters I've ever been in. It's just this beautiful old school theater in Austin, movie theater, you know. And I go in, I got that little kind of premiere card, which is cool, you know, that lets you know what it is. And I have no idea what the film's about.
Wow.
You know what I mean? And,
Drugstore Cowboy.
Oh, dude, let me tell you, the film starts, and then when it ends, I walk out, I go straight to some fucking used clothes stores and start looking for my black leather car coat. I'm looking for the car coat. I need the car coat. I need my hair to slick back like that. I need the fucking, the junkie look.
Dude, his wardrobe in that movie, those pants.
Unbelievable.
Remember those, whatever they were, like checkered pants?
Oh, my God.
One day.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Bob and Diane.
Bob, no hats on the bed.
That's right. No hats on the bed.
We got to fucking move.
Yep.
Hat on the bed.
Yep.
No dogs.
Yep.
Why not, Bob? No fucking dogs. He tells that story.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then he gets paranoid because he starts seeing all these dog commercials on TV, and he's like, now see what you did?
Yep.
You hexed us. Now we're down for the next week.
It's unbelievable, this fucking film, man.
Bob and Diane. Kelly Lynch.
Kelly Lynch, she hit me about a year ago when I posted up a photo of Drugstore Cowboy and said, one of the best films ever. And she hit me on Instagram, and for a minute, she said she was going to do the podcast.
Oh, that would have been great.
And then just disappeared.
Oh, that would have been great.
I was so bummed.
Yeah.
Of course, Gus Van Sant destroys this film, just crushes it. Totally. Shot in, I believe it's Seattle or Portland. And it's got this look and
soundtrack.
Oh,
look, the feel of that movie, the soundtrack, William S. Burroughs cameo, and he's so great in it. Drugs have been systematically demonized in our society.
Oh, that end scene with him, right?
Oh yeah,
and of course. The guy that really killed it was the speed freak. He's like, who's there? Jimmy or whatever. He's like, yeah, who'd you think it was? Your one-eyed granny? He's trading speed.
He plays the same cat in every...
He played it on 2 because he also played it in that movie Rush.
Yep. With Jason Patric.
That guy.
Jennifer Jason
Lee.
Leigh.
Who fucking kills. His name's Matt Perlick. And which, by the way, James DeGrosse, who plays the other couple, Heather Graham and James DeGrosse,
Yeah.
shut your lady up when he's pulling a scam on the guy. She goes, actually, Bob, it's 33 or whatever. And he looks at her like, I'm going to fucking kill you.
Yeah. Next time, I want you to do my math for me.
Yeah. But anyway, James DeGrosse had a pretty cool arc in season 2 of Girls. I'm watching.
Did he really?
It's one of those shows where you're watching and you go, hey, who the fuck is this guy?
Because you know the
this
face.
guy.
He just kind of looked a little bit like Jonesy in Drugstore Guy with the long hair and the little goatee.
I'm looking at him. I go, I know this fucking guy, and then it hit me, and I felt all happy, like my brain works still. But Matt Dillon in this movie, I learn all kinds of shit. First of all, the way they show what it feels like to get high with the seahorses spinning in the back seat.
It's so good. The car scene, the back seat.
That is unbelievable.
Absolutely.
And Matt Dillon,
absolutely
he
great.
fucking murders this movie.
He does.
He murders this movie, man.
He absolutely did, man.
It's insane, man. If I say you only need to see one Matt Dillon film, it would be this one.
Yeah,
Bob. I mean, it's tough. It's tough over Outsiders, but this one really is like a film.
Well, yes, it is. The reason, there's some redemption in it. Like his character is not essentially and tragically flawed. He rises up out of his own ashes and he changes his life. Even though it might come back to bite him in the end, it doesn't matter. He still saw some sunshine in there, and he got clean.
It's weird. I read that it was based on a guy, a real dope raiding crew. And I think the guy recently got out of prison or something. That's how I read it was real.
Oh, really?
I was like, whoa, the real drugstore cowboy,
Wow.
And, like some Vice article or something. But interesting, that it was a crew. Just what a fucking thing, man. They just go around, they rob pharmacies for Dilaudid and morphine.
Yeah.
And
back in the days when security and alarms were just
nothing. And then they would just go out and get high in hotel rooms.
Yeah.
Man, I was relating to that because there used to be a time where we'd just go get high in hotel rooms. Like you get a hotel room for the weekend and party and work on tunes. And just for no reason.
No reason, just to get out of the house.
Isn't that weird?
It is strange.
God damn.
There's that funny scene in the movie though where the comic relief. I mean, there's always some little funny bits.
There's great shit in that movie.
When he knows that the cops are across the street and they're watching.
Yeah.
And he sets it up where the guy across the street thinks he sets it up so that the cop is peeping in on the neighbor's window.
Yeah.
And he goes up and he's like, hey, mister, I don't know. I just saw this guy, with a ladder outside.
Peeping at your wife.
I'll kill the son of a bitch,
right?
right?
That's so great.
And then when he's got everybody sitting in front of the window like it's a movie theater.
Yeah.
And he opens the drapes to see.
It's so great.
It's really funny.
God damn, man, that film is good.
It really, really is.
Yeah, man.
Gus Van Sant, though, I mean.
Killer.
And Matt Dillon, he carried that movie.
He really did, dude.
Yeah.
I mean,
all his choices were so spot on. They were on point. Like his wardrobe in that movie.
The black car coat. I swear to God, I immediately changed my look.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, that's going to be my look for now on. Just fucking crazy, junky look. I could never get my hair cool. Matt still has cool fucking hair. If you follow him on Instagram, this guy looks amazing still right now, man. He's just, I mean, he really has a fucking mystique to him, Singles. A lot of people remember that. It was the big Seattle movie.
Sure was.
And
Cameron Crowe.
It's funny because I watched it recently and I was like, ooh, this movie's terrible. And I loved it. Like,
oh, really? It didn't hold up?
Well, the band parts are cool and hokey.
The cameos, Pearl Jam and
that's
Chris
all
Cornell.
Cool, but it's that I didn't even fucking remember that it was kind of this funky love story. Yeah.
It's a love story.
And I saw it, in the theaters and loved Seattle. Of course, the epic track Wood.
Yeah.
You cannot.
And Seasons.
Oh, Seasons, dude. Yeah. The soundtrack is incredible.
Yeah.
And it was cool to see those guys and Matt Dillon as the lead singer in the band. And he was nailing that with the look.
Yeah.
With that crazy wig and shit.
And the hat. Citizen Dick.
Yeah, Citizen Dick. Yeah, I love it.
What a great band name.
It's funny because Cornell said that he wrote Seasons because the bass player in Pearl Jam, he made the fake demo tape. and just put the song
Titles.
down. And then Cornell wrote, Seasons, because one of the songs was Seasons.
Yes,
So that's amazing,
that's
man.
right. Yeah.
But that film, I love Cameron Crowe, of course. I love Almost Famous, but Cameron's made some duds. And, but, it was just, he really was wise to go into that Seattle, to be able to show that love of music on the side note.
Yeah, right as it's kind of coming to a boil.
Yeah.
It hasn't popped yet. I wonder, I think about that because at the time Cameron was with Nancy Wilson, who's a Seattle native.
Yes,
and I wonder,
from Heart.
Yeah, from Heart. And I wonder if that wasn't, but I know Cameron's also obviously a huge, music buff and aficionado, but I wonder if it wasn't something he kept hearing about from his then wife, like, oh, let's go listen to this band and that band.
Yeah.
They ended up on an Alice in Chains EP, Sap.
Yeah.
Or at least Ann did.
Sap was so great. Yeah, they did that total. It sounded like Zeppelin.
Yes.
Yeah. Sap is great,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
But yeah, singles. And then, for years, Matt's been working. Look, he's been working since 1979.
What was Wild Things he did? Remember that with a young the girl
Wild
from
Things.
Party of Five?
1998.
Yeah.
Wild Things. Then there's something about Mary. He comes out and really
killed
smashes
it in
it.
that.
Smashes it in a comedy.
Yeah, like where did that come from?
Right, because he's kind of gone for a while. I mean, he's doing a shitload of movies, but I think I'm on the road playing music. I'm not seeing it, And then Wild Things come. I mean, Something About Mary comes out. And it's just incredible, super funny, and then he murders it in Crash.
Oh yeah.
I mean, man.
Oh, yeah.
As the racist cop, you cannot believe it. And then when he pulls the woman out and it's the woman that he was racist.
Yeah.
That is unbelievable,
Yeah.
man. That film is like right there.
Yeah.
You go, oh, Matt Dillon is still delivering the fucking goods. And that's
that
2004.
redeemed his character
Totally.
right there.
Totally.
We forgave him.
Yeah.
In a sense,
What a movie, man.
Yeah.
What a movie. And that, Paul Haggis, I went to Paul Haggis, went to watch him speak after Crash.
Yep.
He punched up the $1 Million Baby. Those are two boxing films he puts together.
Yeah.
And I watched Paul Haggis, and I talk about how he got his career start. He was like he's painting houses with his dad, and his dad's like, look, man, I know you don't want to fucking do this. You want to be a writer, so I'll give you a little bit of money, and you move to L.A. and see if you can do it. And he moves to Burbank with his wife, and he's just eating dicks, can't get any kind of work, and he lands a gig writing Scooby-Doo's.
No way.
Writing Scooby-Doo's back in the 60s, man.
Wow.
And then, he's writing cartoons, but it's not what he wants to do, what I mean?
No.
But it's putting food on the table, a lot of pressure between, his wife, like, hey, we got to get some food and rent money.
Yeah.
And then he doesn't really have any work, and he goes in for a Love Boat. They pitched, to write for Love Boat.
Yeah.
And they asked for 3 pitches. He pitches the first one, they're like, nope. And he pitches the second one, they're like, nope. And then he pitches out of nowhere, he doesn't even have a third one. He's all, what about a haunted ship? The Love Boat's haunted. They go, yeah, write that one. And it was basically a Scooby-Doo he wrote. And he just rewrote it for fucking Love Boat, man.
No kidding.
God, it's so great. So Matt Dillon, man, I just wanted to give a hats off to him, and I just feel he's completely underrated, and hopefully one day I can get him on this podcast. I don't ever see him doing any kind of fucking interviews. Let's see, he just had a birthday.
What about In and Out?
In and Out.
Do you remember that?
I never saw that, but I saw it.
Oh, you got
on
to check it with Kevin Kline, where his teacher is he becomes a famous actor.
Yeah.
And I believe that when he wins the award, he calls out his high school teacher for, because he won the award for playing a gay character, and he says, I based it largely on my high school history teacher, whatever, who is married, you know what I mean? And he's like, wait a minute, I'm not gay. And now the whole community is like,
Is he gay?
Yeah, and so
hilarious.
The premise is really great and really funny, and
Yeah.
I mean, especially at that time, I believe that movie's like early 90s.
2013. Or sorry, that's Pawn Shop Chronicles. Let's see, In and Out. When is that? Here it is, 97.
Yeah, it's okay. So it's like late 90s. So
Yeah.
this is when in America anyway, the conversation, the dialogue about homosexuality is already blown wide open by 1997
Right.
in America. So we could make these kinds of movies and have some levity and humor to it.
Yeah.
And this was one of those movies, one of those first movies I recall being like, oh, wow, the premise of this movie is about homosexuality. And,
Right.
And it not being some tragedy, where
Yeah, it
okay,
was like,
you're gay, so
yeah.
you hanged yourself in the closet, or you're,
Yeah.
because that's usually where the role of
Yeah, like it was bad.
yeah,
You know what I
or
mean?
like because you had this, this way of life that you were doomed to some kind of horrible fate. This
Yeah.
movie was just sort of like, oh, okay, let's laugh about this,
Yeah, it's hilarious. I mean, look, I'm going through film like I haven't seen that. I would
Yeah.
like to see that. Remember this one? I saw it and I completely forgot about Albino Alligator. Yeah, with Faye Dunaway.
Faye Dunaway.
Wow,
That's
man.
right, man.
Yeah, I saw that one in the theater.
Wow,
you're just
yeah.
thinking about these. I think that was a famous play, right? Was
I
that
think
a play?
so, yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
because let's see who wrote it. Oh, Kevin Spacey directed it.
Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, Spacey's a huge theater guy.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. To
Here's
die for.
here's how fucking weird life is, and for me, I've always had some weird shit, some Forrest Gump strange shit happen.
Yeah.
I worship Matt Dillon my whole life. I moved to LA, and I believe I'm trying to remember which movie it was, but it was a music documentary. And I thought it was the Wilco film, but I know it wasn't because now I know where I saw the Wilco film. But
Loved
it was
that
one of
film.
those type of music documentaries.
Yeah.
I go to the Sunset 5 on Sunset and Laurel there.
My favorite, my
Love
lady's
it.
favorite spot. Yep.
Love it.
Yep.
I'm there maybe 2 in the afternoon. I go to see a movie. I'm the only guy in the theater.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, cool.
Yeah.
And the trailers run and stuff, and I'm the only guy in the movie. And right when the film is just about to start, this guy comes in and he sits by me, and I'm like, really? Like it's the whole movie theater is empty.
Yeah.
And I'm
That's
thinking to
kinda
myself,
creepy. It's
like,
kinda creepy.
Yeah, I'm like, what is this guy doing?
yeah, is he cruising?
He doesn't sit right next to me,
Yeah.
but he sits in the
Within
row.
your proximity.
Yeah.
So he's cruising.
I'm like, you got the whole movie theater, man. This is weird. I don't think nothing of it. And I look over at him, and he goes, "Well, it's kind of weird, the whole theater's empty." So, because he knows I'm like just sitting there,
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I look, and it's Matt Dillon.
Get out of town.
It's fucking Matt Dillon.
Get out of town.
And I just kind of freeze up, like, "Holy shit, that's fucking Matt Dillon." And I still cannot fucking forget it to this day.
Wow.
And we watched the whole movie, and I'm like, I'm out of the movie now. I'm like, oh, Drugstore Cow. I want to ask him about that. God, fuck this movie. It was whatever I saw, it was great.
Yeah.
And it was some music movie, but the whole time I was like, what about The Outsiders? I could ask him about that.
Yeah.
And then, as soon as it's over, boom, he's gone. He gets up, he's gone, and I'm like, fuck, man.
What are the odds of that? And that's strange.
That's
just-
fucking what I'm saying. Life is so
Life is
weird.
strange.
Like today, I'm going to do this goddamn comedy jam
Yeah.
tonight.
Yep.
And where I sing a song and do comedy, And about 6 months ago, I hosted this show for Ricky Rackman for Cat House 30-year anniversary, and the secret band was Twisted Sister.
Okay.
And they come on and they play 4 songs and they fucking knock me out. Like D. Snyder knocks me out. Like
Yeah.
he's 60 or whatever he is, 60 something. And in the 4 songs, it was more rock than I'd seen in 20 years. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
So I decide, since we're doing the show tonight at the Roxy, a couple weeks ago, I go, And by the way, I dived down the rabbit hole of the Twisted Sister documentary.
Great documentary.
Yeah, Twisted fucking Sister.
Yeah.
And I realized this guy is the Tony Roberts of rock. You know what I mean? No matter what they said, no.
Yeah.
He was like, yeah, you can say whatever you want. I'm going to keep going. And his tunes, we're not going to take it.
Yeah.
Stay hungry.
That's right.
I want to rock.
That's
you know,
right.
it's all like these positive, like Tony Roberts of rock.
Totally.
So I figured, fuck it, I'm going to do I Want to Rock. Just for fun, I'm thinking, because I really wanted to do like, Ballad of Dorothy Parker, Prince or something. But people don't know that, and it's a performance, and people get bored. Like, what's his song he picked or whatever? Yeah. So I picked that 2 weeks ago. Today I wake up, and we're shooting tonight. We're doing the show tonight. And we're not shooting. We're doing the show, and it's his birthday today.
Oh,
I'm like, what are the fucking odds? I picked this song like weeks ago, and it's his birthday today.
Wow.
Yeah, that kind of weird shit is so weird.
Yes,
right?
it is. Synchronicities, I believe.
It's
Carl
not like
Jung.
Matt Dillon sitting next to the empty theater, but it is bizarre.
But it is bizarre. It reminds me of the time when, speaking of the outsiders, I went sneaker shopping one day. This was years ago in Sherman. I went to the Sherman Oaks
right up
Galleria.
the street there.
Yeah. And
that shoe store's still there.
is it really?
Yeah.
No kidding? Mm-hmm. I haven't been up there in years. But I was up there getting some sneakers or shoes or whatever, and I'm trying some on, and this guy is sitting on the bench next to me, getting his shoes fitted and whatnot by the guy who works at the shoe shop, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing his voice, and I'm like, I don't really want to look at him, but I hear his voice, and I'm like, man, I keep hearing it as it's resonating. I'm like, I don't know why it's the timbre, and I finally look at the guy. I get a side profile, and I'm like, As I get up, I'm feeling my shoes. I make a point of walking by him, and I see his face, and I go, holy shit. That's Shepard from the movie The Outsiders.
Whoa.
And he the only way I know his voice is because when the movie said, hey, anybody, where is old Dally?
Yeah.
I know he slashed my tires. That's what he says in the movie.
Yeah.
So and everybody's like, well, we don't know, man, you know.
Yeah.
And I said, I'm sorry to bother you, but you did play Shepard in The Outsiders, right? And he's was much older.
Oh yeah. But
he lit right up.
Yeah.
He's like, I did play Shepard. And I started talking to him. We talked for about 20 minutes. I asked him what he was doing and what, he'd been working. He'd been doing a bunch of theater. And he told me, he said, I tried to, ride the wave, he said, but I couldn't get the gigs. But what a strange thing, because that movie, like you, had such an impact on my life as a kid that I'm like, wow, I just met one of the guys from that movie. Shepard.
It's like Damone.
Yeah, Damone.
When I've had him on my podcast.
Yeah.
And Bob, and when you hear his voice, what about the tunes? I ran into him a couple of weeks ago on the street. I fucking love this man. I'm going to have him back on the podcast again. I like to have him on once a year. But that's a man who is such a part of my childhood that he fucking just, my face lights up.
Yeah.
It does. It's just, there he is,
Yeah.
What about the tunes? The Dream Police. I want you to want me. It's funny. I have a story like what you said. I was eating Chinese food in Chinatown. A buddy of mine took me to this place. He said, you got to have food at this place. It's this hidden gem in Chinatown. And, because I was always like, LA's got no Chinese food. San Fran's got the fucking Chinese food.
Yeah.
He goes, no, I'll take you to this place. So we're eating. And this woman's behind me, and her voice is just going, "Oh, this is just incredible! This fried rice," and the voice hits me like a lightning bolt. And it was the fucking the psychiatrist on Sopranos, the woman.
Oh, Edie, not Edie. Lorraine.
Right? Yeah. Your woman's worked with
Lorraine Bracco. Lorraine Bracco.
Yeah, and her voice she's with her daughter with her, and it's hitting me. Yeah. And I'm like, I know this fucking voice, but I don't want to turn right around. I'm like, who is this voice? I fucking know this voice. And this is when Sopranos is at the peak.
Peaking.
And I turn around and I go, oh, fuck. Wow. I can't believe it. Yeah. It's funny how a voice that like yours is just kind of like one. Like,
Because it was
where is
so,
old Dally
yeah,
Boy?
it was just his accent and his timbre. Boom.
That is
I know you.
crazy, right?
Yes.
All right, let's get a little bit into. Oh, by the way, thank you, Matt Dillon, for all your incredible fucking art you've done over the years. And one day, hopefully, somebody out there listens to this podcast, knows you, and goes, "Come on, you got to do the podcast." And follow him on Instagram, people. He's over in like Italy right now doing a movie, and this guy takes incredible art photos. It's no fucking Matt Dillon. He's not going to let you down with selfies and bullshit like this. Like, hey, here I am.
Right.
You know, these are. He takes incredible, cool photos, and it's a great follow. But anyway, hopefully somebody will hit me up and go, hey, I know him. I can get you on. I tried to get his brother on. His brother is fucking Fort Knox. Kevin. Yeah, I can't even get him on.
Really?
Yeah, and I had Jerry on, and Jerry's like, I can't even get him on my podcast.
Oh, no
He's just out in
kidding.
Malibu, like, fuck everyone.
Wow.
And he's got mystique, too. I
Yeah.
think it runs in the family, and that's why I really would like to interview Matt. Maybe it was their father, or maybe they're just way deep into, like...
Well, they're like a family of 10 or something, I think.
It's got to be something from the
They got
father,
a lot
because
of
these
kids.
guys don't rock cell phones. They're like that kind of thing. No, Kevin knows social media, and you got to think he's a star on fucking Entourage.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I mean, a fucking star.
Oh, absolutely, and he was also already a film star before that, or he already had a nice film career with Platoon and The Doors. He played John Densmore.
Oh yeah, hell yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
But yeah, Entourage took him into the
Skyscraper.
stratosphere. Yeah,
But you know, and it makes you think like. I in this world of people trying to fucking, you know, once you make it, trying to shoot you down, you know, by digging through your old tweets, like, oh, here's something that might have been racist,
Right.
You know, some joke at the time that
Right.
they don't, you know, like I was reading this thing how like, you know, once you when you like start a show or whatever, they hire these teams and they go through your Twitter and they rifle everything out. And there was a big article saying, once you sign to do a show, just cut your Twitter off immediately. Shut it down.
Wow.
Because they'll just there's just fucking trolls out there
Oh, yeah.
that just be like, oh, I can't believe this person's playing Spock and not the person I wanted to play Spock. I'm
Right.
going to find some shit on this
Right,
guy.
right.
You're like, get a fucking life, man.
Yeah. But you're leaving a crumb trail. You know,
Yeah.
that's the other thing. It's all self-choice. You know how much you participate in.
Yeah.
And this is an example, at least with the Dillons, as you're saying, like the non-participatory, nothing.
Nothing. And that's why.
Wow.
That's
Rare.
what they're like the Zeppelin of actors, you know, like Zeppelin back then. Remember, there was no
Nothing.
TV shows, nothing. Peter Grant was like, "No, we're not doing no fucking, Don Kirshner's rock concert. We're not doing fucking Carson or anything. You want to see this band? You must pay to see the band.
Yeah.
You must leave your house." That's why I don't have anything on YouTube as far as comedy.
Yeah.
I try to go with the Peter Grant thing.
Yeah.
You know, you want to see something?
Get out of the house and come
Get
see
out
it.
of the fucking house, man.
Absolutely.
People want everything free now.
Yes,
They're
they
like,
do.
where's your special so I can just watch it on the couch?
Yeah.
Thanks for the 350 fucking podcasts for free, but I need free tickets now too.
Yeah.
How about free tickets? It's like, really, man? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Come on.
Yeah.
We're adults here trying to survive in an art world.
Absolutely. And you have to, and paying for it, that exchange means something.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because you're working at your craft. You're trying to get better at it. You're trying to feed yourself, survive, thrive, grow, succeed
Yeah.
off doing that. That means you're sitting around every day getting better,
Yeah.
trying to get better.
When
That
I-
job doesn't end at 5 o'clock
No.
p.m. It doesn't start at 9 a.m. You know
Fuck
what I mean?
no.
It's like that's
It's
24/7.
Yeah.
For your whole entire life. That's what you signed on for.
Exactly.
That's worth, the $15 or the $25 for the ticket or whatever they're charging at the door. Thank you very much.
When a guy comes up to me and I'm at a show and he says, "Hey man, I came out to the show tonight. I'm a huge fan of your podcast." And he didn't reach out to me like for tickets, free tickets.
Yeah.
Or he didn't reach out to me like, "Hey man, I'm going to be there, so maybe you can hang out with me for 4 hours because I'm coming, you owe me," or whatever,
Yeah.
whatever. When they come up and say, hey, man, I just want to let you know, I love your podcast and your comedy was great. We had an amazing night. I'll give that guy the world.
Yeah.
Because it fucking hits my heartstrings like crazy. And I'm like, man, I cannot thank you enough because I just flew 2,000 miles. That cost me $500. I got a hotel room and food, and you, on your part, came out.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's what it's about,
It's
man.
absolutely what it's about, man.
Yeah, it's crazy. Let's get into the Faces here a little bit, and then we'll cut out of here. I got the Faces box set on vinyl this week on Warner Brothers, and it's all remastered off the original masters, the flat masters. It's
Wow.
a legit fucking box set. And hold on, let me grab it here.
Wow.
It's insane.
Now, you talking just the Faces or Small Faces as
Well, we're talking about, since the first record was Small Faces, you know, the label made them do that.
Yeah.
But in England, it's First Step.
Yeah.
But in the States, they're like, no, you got to call it Small Faces because nobody's going to know who the new group is. So it starts in 1970
Yep.
with First Step, a.k.a. U.S., which this is a U.S. reissue, is Small Faces.
Okay.
So we're talking 70 to 75,
75.
and it comes in this beautiful box. And
It's great.
and let me tell you something. First of all, it's like $149, but I got it on eBay for $69.
Killer. Killer.
Yeah.
Frugal shopping right there.
Oh, you know me.
Yeah.
Here's the trick. When you're at a record store and you're about to do your spontaneous buy, like
Yeah.
I'm on this, just step back for 1 minute, open up your phone and go to Amazon and eBay simultaneously and go, oh, here it is. Ting,
Yeah,
and walk out.
$3.99.
You still get the record store experience. You know, I do like to support the record store. Like Amoeba had this there.
Yeah.
And I had him hold it for me, and then I went back and it was sold. Like I was going to a movie or whatever. Oh no, I was there for Ryan Adams. And I didn't want to carry it.
Sure.
You know? Anyway, so I do support the record store.
What's the record store right up on Ventura and Van Nuys?
Oh, it's called Freak Beat.
Yeah, Freak Beat Records.
Fucking great.
Awesome. And the
I go
guy
there all
behind the
time.
counter's great, man.
Oh yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
You know, guy
Yeah.
behind the counter.
Yeah.
And so I do support the record stores all the time, but I'm talking about if you're at, like, let's say a big chain like Best Buy or something, and you see the record there. Check first, you know. But if it's a mom and pop, just buy it there.
Buy
Fuck
it.
it.
Keep
But
them open.
But at this point, though, I saved so much money
Yeah.
on it. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Okay, so you get First Step, Long Player, A Nod as Good as a Wink, To a Blind Horse, Ooh La La, and Stray Singles and B-Sides. It's a five record thing. And the sound of this record, these records, and the quality of the covers and everything, and the thickness of the vinyl is
They took good care to make sure it was a cool package, yeah?
Wow, yeah. And so my main thing is I started, because I've had this box set for years. I'm a Faces freak. I've had 5 Men Step Into a Bar box set on CD.
Yeah.
And it just covered all these cool live shows
Yeah.
and outtakes and everything. And it's a beautiful box. But I never had the stuff on record. I always had it just kind of like in different formats. So this week, I'm doing a record of the day, and each day it's one of these records. And I put it on and I listen to each one from top to bottom, and it just fucking floors me that this band isn't more well known. It's also, they've been known as the Dirty Stones, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? And
Yeah.
they were just, a lot of people don't know who they were. Kenny Jones later played with The Who.
Yep.
On the end of The Who, you know, of course, when the 82 Eminence Front era.
Yep.
Ronnie Lane passed.
God bless him. Bassist.
One of the greatest bass players.
Great bassist. And writer. Great writer.
Incredible writer.
Yeah.
And cool style.
Yeah, real cool style.
Of course, they had the big shows, the Arms, Ronnie
Yep.
Lane benefit with Jimmy Page. And
What was he, MS?
MS, I think it
Yeah.
was. Yeah. And then Ian McClogan.
Yep.
Now, if you want to know where the fuck the Black Crowes get like Sometimes Salvation or Sister Morphine or any of those slow kind of soul rock ballads with the B3 and the Wurlitzer, it's all Ian McLagan.
Yeah.
It's all Faces, man.
Absolutely, man.
100% Black Crowes is all Faces.
Absolutely, because in a lot of the Rod Stewart inflections you can hear on the Black Crowes records, man.
Sometimes Salvation. I mean, that like when you listen to, I was listening to the first record, which, like I keep saying, it's called First Step, but you might see it as Small Faces.
Yeah.
When you listen to this instrumental, Pineapple and the Monkey.
Yeah.
That is what B3 rock and roll is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
This fucking band is the blueprint, I realize, of one of the main rock and roll sounds that I love.
Absolutely.
Which is just kind of B3 rock and roll.
And yes, rock and roll, blues progressions. Nothing really. I mean, it was all about the sound, the sonic wall that you could kind of build, because there wasn't a lot of virtuoso playing in the Faces.
Nope.
There wasn't a lot of standouts where people were trying to show anything off. It was really about how do you vamp this and how do you make it interesting. How do you turn this little riff on its ear?
The simplicity of it.
Yeah,
like Flying.
Yeah.
Like Flying is my all-time best favorite Faces song, hands down.
Yeah.
It's just the way it just tells this story.
Great tune.
And the way the fucking, the keyboards are at the top.
Yeah.
When you hear, and then the vocal.
Yeah.
The vocal is brutal.
Brilliant
It's
vocal.
insane, man.
Yep.
3-button hand-me-down.
Yep.
And all of the guys are writing in the band.
Yeah.
Which is amazing. All of them, like Ron Wood wrote a lot of fucking shit in this band. And then you get into Ronnie Lane, and they're switching vocals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they got a bar on stage while they're playing.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
It's so 70s. You know what I mean? It's so 70s.
Like just cocaine bar.
Yeah. But these guys, I mean, you're also talking about like Ronnie Wood coming out of, the Jeff Beck group at that
with
time. With Rod, and playing bass in the Jeff Beck group and killing it on bass. When you listen to those records, and I don't know if he was instructed on those lines, but there's a lot of really cool lines on that Truth record that are counterpoint to what the guitar is doing. And I thought, wow, Ronnie's a very inventive bass player. Like, he's a very musical cat, man. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Not to be underappreciated because he, is in the Stones and now he, joins this monolith. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. I still never really, I accept Ronnie and the Stones. He's been in there my entire life, pretty much, but there was no real, which is interesting because when you see how much he wrote here in the Faces, there's no real, standout Ron Wood Stones record, because when you look at Black and Blue, that was done with multiple guitar players.
Yep.
And then Tattoo You, one of my all-time favorite Stones records, is all like old shit you find out later that Mick Jagger digs up and starts to rebuild to get Keith back in there and stuff.
Yep.
And Some Girls, which is an absolute masterpiece, it's not like it's a guitar record or anything.
No, not at all. It's funky. It's
right. It's disco.
It's real sparse guitar playing.
Yeah. But when you think about the Faces, I think about Ron Wood and and Rod Stewart.
Yeah.
It's like, wow.
That's a duo.
That's duo.
Yeah.
They had the chemistry as fuck, man.
Absolutely. Right. As writers.
Right.
And I think that's why that relationship still, because I remember when Rod did, they did, I don't know if they reunited necessarily, but they did do dates together some years ago.
Hollywood Bowl 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Man, I really wanted
Ronnie
to see
and
that.
Rod. And,
I really wanted to see that.
Me too, because I would love to hear those songs now. The Truth album was, a big album for me when I discovered it. It was sort of like, wow, this is Led Zeppelin before Led Zeppelin.
Yeah, yeah.
It was, so I know that they were going to play stuff like Superstitious and stuff like that, and I knew they were going to tackle a bunch of Faces stuff, but I never got the ticket to go. But I kind of kicked myself for that because
yeah, me too. Because I was hearing rumblings that they were going to do a tour. So I was like, oh, well, I'll go see it when it's
heard
proper,
the same thing.
Because what they were doing, I guess Rod would headline, and then they do this Faces thing at the end.
Yeah.
Like 5-6 songs or something.
But I heard rumblings that they were actually going to reunite and do a full-on tour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what I was hearing.
Yeah, I don't know why that never took shape, but...
Of course, Glenn Johns is in the mix, producing these records.
Man.
And, today I put on the Nod record.
Yeah.
Stay With Me. That is classic Stuart Wood right there.
Absolutely, man.
Stay With Me is a fucking masterpiece,
dude. How you can turn around 3 chords?
Yeah. The way it goes too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's just insane.
Yeah,
man.
how you can make that happen? I mean, that's just it's that songcraft.
Yeah,
an example of great songcraft. Like take something really simple and just sort of keep rearranging it, and you got a song. So
great. So you guys, you got to get into some Faces here, man, because people are always asking me what I'm listening to new, and I would guarantee that a shitload of you guys out there don't know the Faces, or maybe
not enough of it,
or not enough. And man, and this is what I really wanted to say, as I would put on the record and listen to each day. Now I'm on Wednesday? I'm on the 3rd record. I listen to it from top to bottom, and I'm just like, wow, what the fuck? I mean, wow, like it is fucking, and there's no
rock
format.
and
There'd
roll,
be like
man.
A live song. Then there's like some studio tracks. Then there's some instrumentals.
That's cool.
It's straight 70s.
Yeah.
They do Maybe I'm Amazed.
Oh, wow.
Like just out of nowhere on the fucking record. You're like, wow, where does this come from?
Yeah.
And it's live for no reason on a record,
Wow.
It's really crazy, man. And of course, I'm coming up on Ooh La La tomorrow, which everybody's always like, Ooh La La is the one. And I said, I can get that's what you're going to say.
Yeah.
But to me, man, that first one is fucking insane, man.
Yeah.
And the second one, like, how are you gonna get into like which one's the best? It's insane, man.
What was Steve Marriott's?
Well, he went. Of course, that's the thing. So Steve Marriott, Humble Pie,
He split to go form Humble Pie.
right? And it's really funny because if you look at it, so he's in the Small Faces.
Yeah.
And the Small Faces were going through so many fucking members. It was kind of like my band. I was like, oh, God. But each guy they got was somebody who was like, oh, Jimmy Page. Everybody in the Small Faces.
Yeah.
Like, let's look at the Small Faces, the band members. It's insane.
Past members.
Here we go. Band members.
Oh, there's a lot when they have a color chart.
That's what I got.
You know what I mean?
The color chart.
Yeah,
I got the color chart.
That means there's been a
Steve
few.
Marriott, Ron Wood, Rod Stewart, well, of course, because they're counting the Small Faces, I guess. Ronnie Lane, that guy, Tetsu. Yeah. Which I think he played in Free for a minute, too,
I think he did, too. Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yes, he did.
Rick Willis, Glenn Matlock, Kenny Jones. Didn't Jimmy Page play in Small Faces for a minute? I thought he did.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, I guess not. But
I don't think so.
Yeah, I guess not. Yeah. But anyway, so Small Faces, they're going through all kinds of dudes and for how short they were together. But
yeah,
Steve Marriott splits and goes to Humble
Pie.
And a lot of people love Humble Pie, and it's a band that never really has grabbed me. I got the Humble Pie live at the Fillmore.
That's probably that's the one if you're going to have
Right.
the one, unless you're a huge fan of the Humble Pie. But
Yeah.
if you're just a casual listener, the Fillmore album is the
Some
one.
people
because it's red hot.
Yeah. And that's got Peter Frampton.
Yeah. I mean,
Peter
Frampton.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah. A very underrated guitar player. I know that sounds funny because he had
yeah.
one of the biggest selling live albums of all time, but still, I still hear him play, and it's funny. I drive through LA mostly listening to K-jazz. I mean,
Yeah.
that sounds really lame, but it's true. Because I listen to and play so much rock in my life, and I want to hear other things. I want it to
Right.
influence me to do other things. And Peter Frampton has an acoustic jazz record out now that is in the stylings of Django.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's that feel,
Right.
and it's really good. It's exceptional, and I keep hearing it and coming on the radio. And I'm like, man, this album must be doing quite well for him.
Wow.
But yeah,
And talk about Peter Frampton and Almost Famous. He's the guy that went on there and did all the, like basically him and Nancy were wrote Fever Dog.
Yeah.
And showed, like, I read that Frampton was really the guy that was like, no, man, you got to get the moves down. He was really showing the moves, what guitars, the clothing and shit,
Yeah.
And
well, he fell into obscurity there for some years.
Yeah.
Amazing. He still kept his chops up, and I want to say it was Clapton who pulled him out of that obscurity at the time.
Wow.
And if my memory serves, it's vague, but I remember seeing Eric on TV or hearing him on the radio saying, like, I don't know why he's not out here playing. He was so great. And so I think Eric took him on tour, if I'm not mistaken. And kind of reintroduced the idea and the genius of Peter Frampton, because I think he's a genius player.
I mean,
such sophistication, man.
dude, I mean, when you watch that live at Dan the Green, you can watch it on YouTube and just see a guy that fucking just killing it, man.
Oh, dude, and it's so 70s. The rainbow and the rainbow jacket and the blonde hair.
And he's even playing a Strat on a few songs, which is weird because you're like, Strat, where's that 3-pickup Les Paul? And recently they got that 3-pickup Les Paul back. Remember, it was in a plane crash.
No way.
You got to hear that story. And
No
it fucking, they put it in a plane. Hold on, let me look that up for a minute because it was insane. His guitar, let's see here. It was in a plane crash. That famous one from the cover of, the live record. Let's see here. Guitar, plane crash. Yeah, here it is. And he got it back recently. Here it is. Reunited with guitar after 33 years.
Wow.
So in 1980, it was in a cargo plane that crashed. And out in Panama.
Oh my gosh.
Taking off in Venezuela on the way to Panama. It crashes. And he gets it back. Here it is. Look, all burned up.
Oh my.
Look, there it is.
It looks badass.
It looks badass.
Wow.
It looks like a fucking
Back from
relic,
the dead,
right? And he got it. Look, right here, man.
Wow.
It's his guitar.
Can you imagine 30-something years later it's showing up?
Yeah, what the
Can you
fuck,
imagine?
man? It's
That's
a
really
54
remarkable.
Black Beauty. 30 years it went up in a puff of smoke, he thought. Oh my God.
Wow.
Man.
That reminds me, I recently read about how John Fogerty was reunited with.
I saw that. His wife bought it. She went,
Yeah.
He was at Norm's one day and he's like, that's my old
That's my
guitar. And then
guitar.
she tracked it down.
Yeah. He wrote all those hits on that guitar.
Yeah, isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
And it's crazy. He just gave it to a kid.
Yeah, he sold it for he said, I don't know, maybe for $200 or so.
Yeah. He's like,
weird
fuck it.
headspace to be in at that time.
Yeah, but this is insane because this guitar he played at the Humble Pie Fillmore West Live record, and then also played it on that that famous live record.
Yeah, man. On the cover, it's on the cover. That
he used it in sessions with George Harrison, Harry Nilsson, and John Entwistle. Probably the most guitar 76 solo record,
Yeah.
Oh man, it gets it back. Look at it, dude.
I mean, it looks. It's like a dog returning home, and it's tattered.
I saw.
You know what I
I saw
mean?
something where their cat ran away like 7 years ago, and they got reunited with it.
No way.
It had fucking gone somewhere else, and they ended up in a shelter and another shelter, and they got reunited. with
No
it.
kidding.
How fucking weird is that?
What are the odds of
7 years
that?
or 10 years later, your cat
Now your old tattered old cat coming home,
fucking
living a life.
Except for Peter Frampton's cat's worth $1 million.
Yeah, that's the only difference.
That guitar's worth $1 million. in like, in an auction because of the story, the songs wrote on it, the concerts it was played. That's $1 million guitar right there.
Absolutely.
Somebody finds it in the jungle. Yeah, look at this thing.
Yeah, what is this? Probably under the mud and some
all burned up.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Restored. But I love how they kind of preserved.
This story's from 2012.
Wow, this goes back.
I can't believe I remembered it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I met Peter Frampton a few years ago. He wouldn't take a picture with me. Uncool.
He would not take a picture with you.
Nope. And I was the only one that recognized him in a Starbucks over here in Studio City. I said, "You're Peter Frampton, right?" And he goes, "Yeah." I go, "Wow, man. Fucking, you are the man." And he's all cool. And then I was out front. I was like, I'm not going to bug him in there. I'll wait till he came out front. I was just with my buddy on our motorcycles. Like, mind if I get a picture? And he gave me the hand, like, nah.
I
was like,
the old Frampton brush off.
He gave me the fucking.
He gave you
do
the
you
Frampton.
feel like I do?
Yeah, that's what you will forever refer to as when somebody brushes you off. Well, I got the Frampton.
I got the Frampton. That's gonna be it from now on. Hey, was he cool? No. Straight up got the Frampton. Somebody told me though he doesn't like to take pictures because he doesn't like how he looks.
Looks maybe.
Yeah, whatever. But I think he looks dynamite. Look, he looks like Gilmore almost. Look at him. I mean, he doesn't have the blonde locks, but who the fuck does?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, except all the guys in the Rolling Stones.
Somehow, they got magic hair.
Somehow it's
what the fuck is that, right?
I don't know. I heard Ronnie Wood. I mean, I don't want to talk about people, but I heard his is kind of real.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, it looks great.
It sure does. That's all that matters.
Yeah.
But yeah, they all are freaky with that stuff. But
Yeah. I mean, there's some bands out there like when you look at like Black Crowes, they all had their hair. They still got it now. You're like, wow, that's killer. What are the odds? Because you're just picking random dudes for your band back in the day. Eventually, genes are going to take their toll, and some of the guys are going to have a horseshoe. You know what I mean?
Totally.
I mean, fuck, how crazy is that?
Totally.
That's a weird thing. Like, if I would have known you were going to have a horseshoe early, I would have done some gene checking on you because we need to all have long hair in this band in 2017 when it's 140 degrees out.
Totally.
Fucking hilarious.
I don't care about your playing, man.
Good to see you, dude.
Good to see you, brother.
Thanks for coming by.
Yeah, last time I saw you, we were on the East Coast. Am I right? Or am I tripping?
Yeah, we were in New York.
Yeah, man.
It was great. We drank some high-end coffee, did a podcast. People loved it.
Yeah.
What's going on with Whitesnake?
The WHITESNAKE?
Are you guys done?
We are on a hiatus this year.
Yeah.
Because David's getting some. He's got some
surgery.
Yep.
Oh, is he going to get vocal notes?
No. He's got. He's getting some work done on his knee.
Oh, his knees.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So that's takes some time.
Yep.
And then, but we are talking about making a record this year, doing another original, a record of original music. The last record that we did was
the Deep Purple one.
Yeah, the Purple album. Yep. And I think it's time to do some. I think we all feel like that, not just me, but I think everybody feels like we should give it a shot with this lineup because we've had this lineup now, and it's a finely tuned machine now, and all the components are there. It's all the guys that are great players, fully capable of putting together some cool original, Whitesnake rock music. And I think it'd be great for David to do it too, even if because who knows? You know what I mean?
Is he in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame?
He is now with Deep Purple.
Yeah.
He went in just last year. He went
badass.
Yeah. And
what a king. I was just
man.
I was just talking about him a couple of days ago. I was talking about taking mushrooms at a concert.
Yeah.
It was Whitesnake, Motley Crue, Poison. It was a big Dan the Green.
Yeah.
And it was the last time I took him at a concert. The stadium was breathing. I was like,
oh, yeah. Not a place to be.
Yeah.
Necessarily.
Well, he's just...
to roll the dice, though, right?
I was talking about mushrooms at a concert because I kind of want to take him at the Dead coming up here. And it is a roll of the dice.
Yes.
Either it's like, oh my God, this is fucking fantastic. Or it's like, well, too many people here. I got to get out of here. Oh my God, there's a monster behind fucking Phil Lesh.
Totally.
Yeah. When's the last time you took mushrooms?
I don't want to discuss such things. No, I'm kidding. It's been a long... Last time I took mushrooms, I'll tell you.
Yep.
It was the first time I moved to Los Angeles. So it was, I touched down here. And
a long time ago then, huh?
Yeah.
Fuck.
It's been a while since I've taken any psychedelics. But I had them it was a going away present.
Yes.
From a buddy, and
Yeah.
I went to his apartment to say bye, and he's like, "Here, man, for the road." And I'm like,
Take some
I'm
psilocybin.
driving a rider, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
what do you
yeah.
mean for the road?
Yeah, yeah.
So
get pulled over in Tennessee and go to prison with these.
Right.
People are like, you know what I mean? Crossing state lines with narcotics.
yeah,
you
with
got
some-
like a gram on you or whatever,
Right.
you know what I mean?
So
oh my
they-
God, your life is ruined.
Oh, it's over. So they were stuffed very deeply down into the
Yeah.
crevasses of our packing. But yeah, I got to when I finally got the apartment, which was in Sherman Oaks on Magnolia and Van Nuys.
Yeah.
And
SO, as I like to call it.
yeah, SO.
SO Homes.
SO served me well for many years
Yeah.
here when I first moved here. I really loved it. Yeah.
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 Gets hot as fuck.
It
out
gets
there.
hot as fuck, but not as hot as Northridge. I lived up in fucking
Ooh.
Northridge, dude. Forget about it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I bought a kiddie pool. That's how fucking hot it was. I was
Wow.
like, you know what? I'm just going to, just something to soak
I think it's the
in.
racism out there. That's why it's so hot. Listen, solo record, is that still happening?
It is, man. And it's, I'm on vocals now.
Good.
I'm coming down to the wire. I ended up scrapping a lot of what I had originally put forth as part of the
That
solo
shit
record.
you went and tracked in Jersey?
That's the shit that I'm leading with now, because
Okay.
the shit I tracked in Jersey is the shit that I want. Like,
Right.
that's the money, because it's real. And I got in a room, in a real live room, and I did it right. You know what I
Right.
mean? I sat with a drummer who I had never met, Russ Holtz, man. He's just a young whippersnapper, but kick-ass drummer, and didn't have to talk much to him. He understood it, you know?
Right.
So I cut it like that, and my producer just said, "Look, man, just bring your bass, and we'll just do a bass and drum." So I ran, and I'm like, man, I don't know, because all my other prior material was B3s and acoustics, electrics, everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I said, but I at least need. And he said, no, you don't need shit. Just
Show up.
bring your bass and a vocal and a drum, and we'll figure it out.
Yeah, yeah.
So we ran, I got there, and I show up, and he's already got my setup, and it's a fucking wall. It's not only bass amps. He's got me running through Marshall. He's got me running through Tweeds. He's got me running through
Sick.
all
Just
kinds
crazy sounds.
So I'm just getting this big wall of bass sound. And that's how we started. And
Yeah.
and we now, you know, we started building it on, which was great, because that's kind of, I always had this concept in my mind of heavy mellow music. Like,
Right.
it's heavy, but it doesn't have to be speed metal or anything
you
like
mean
that.
like Mazzy Star heavy, you know, where that's like really heavy, but it's just piano and shit. You know what I mean? That
Yeah.
shit is fucking heavy. I get what you're saying, you know? So are you getting away from the sound of that video that you put out about a year ago?
No. But what I mean by it is that I don't want to rely upon other textures to convey an idea. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's in it. Overdubbing all the guitars, overdubbing all the other stuff, kind of just in the end, as I moved further away from those first initial songs that were originally going to go out on an Italian label, I'm like, well, man, the more I'm moving into this area and this Jersey sound that feels so much, it feels organic and it feels real.
Right.
It's not the art of songcraft. It's what's coming out.
Yeah.
It's simple. And it's but why it's heavy mellow is just because it's kind of like on a basis of free. The tempos are slow.
Dope.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, like Fire and Water.
Yeah.
Or fucking bump, boom, bum, ba-dum, boom.
Yeah.
Baby, don't you love?
Yes.
How great is that,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. It's all great.
Man, the simplicity of it.
That's
Just
the thing.
Space.
Yes, it's space.
Yeah.
And that's what, as I came home from Jersey, I'm listening to the demos, and I threw down some whirly on it before I split.
Yeah.
I threw down a scratch vocal and some whirly. That's all I had. And I threw down a scratch guitar.
Yeah.
So I had this wall of bass sound, killer drum track, and some sparse stuff, and I thought, well, I don't really want to take this into some other area of like, okay, now I'm overdubbing 9 parts, and I got some guy ripping a solo. This sounds cool. It's got breath. It's got space. It's got mood.
Yeah.
So with the help of my producer, Warren, he's holding back the reins and like, no, man, fuck that. Leave it where we, got it. Just pick your spots. And that's what I've been doing. So I had to not scrap, but I had 12 songs that were ready to like.
Yeah. But that's, sometimes you got to do that because, the energy to put something out and then to want to go promote it if it's really not what you wanted to do, you just stop for a minute and go, maybe later this will make sense, but this is making sense now.
Yeah.
And I feel good, and let's go out and get this out to the world.
Absolutely, because some of those other songs, I think, well, they'd be great, and for licensing or something. But to go out and play it live,
Right.
or to go out and not have to make an excuse for it,
Yeah.
that's where I want it to
Exactly.
be. Where it's
Yeah.
like no excuses. Listen to it, buy it, enjoy it. If you like it, great. If you don't, great.
Nice.
These are my influences, and these are my my love for music is evident, and so that'll be out. God knows, but
Yeah, whatever.
It'll.
You going to New York this summer?
It'll come. I am. I'll be going back and forth.
Yeah, when are you
I
going?
will-
Because I'm going in June.
Well,
Shades of Blue, your ladies' show's
Yeah.
killing, right?
yeah. I haven't seen any of the episodes. I saw little bits of episode 2 because she was tweeting.
She's been tweeting about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Is she in New York now?
No, she's still home, but
Right.
we are figuring out how to get to New York now.
Same place? Same house?
Yeah, man.
No shit?
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's there.
So
But
I'll be there, and let's spend some more time
we
together.
absolutely will, man.
We'll see some concerts together.
Totally, dude.
Go to some comedy, and
Yeah.
we'll do some more East Coast podcasting.
Absolutely, I'd love to do it, man.
You know when you're going?
I'll be going initially with her when she gets there, so that's going to be sometime in April next month. It's
Wow.
It's coming up.
Okay.
But then I'm coming back because because I'm not on the road this year.
Right.
You know what I mean? My connects are here. My
Oh, yeah, I got you.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I need to be on the scene just in case.
You still playing with Guess Who? Was that who?
I'm not actually. Rudy Sarzo.
Oh, wow.
I believe has taken over for that. I couldn't commit right away because I
Right.
didn't know what the story was with Whitesnake, and it was it was a contractual thing. It was
Yeah,
like,
I
okay,
gotcha.
you got to sign on, and I'm like, well, I can't just
Yeah.
sign this because if DC wants to go out.
Yeah, I hear you, man. That's the fucking. You don't want to lose that gig over a weekend gig.
It's all no, and that's the thing. It's a
Yeah.
weekend.
Right.
They're fly dates. It's not.
Rudy, man, we got to do a documentary on Rudy.
Yeah, he's had
This guy's played in 90 bands.
He has, and some seriously
Some of the
influential.
best. Blue Oyster Cult,
Yeah,
fucking
yeah. Ozzy.
Quiet Riot, Ozzy,
Whitesnake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
Yeah, and a sweetheart of a human being.
Yeah, I love him. All right, dude. Let's get
Yeah,
out
brother.
of here.
Let's get outta
and,
here. Cut out.
follow Michael Devin on Twitter and Instagram.
Michael E. Devin is my handle, I do believe.
Yep, and candles lit. Until next time, guys, subscribe to the podcast, leave a review. And, I wanted to give one shout out here. Somebody donated to the podcast yesterday, and I want to get this guy's name on here because I've been getting some donations lately.
Donations are welcome.
Yeah, and I was just showing Michael Devin, I'm going to upgrade some equipment. I'm going to go these headphones, Biodynamics, with like the mics built into them.
It's like Sportscaster.
Yeah,
headphones,
so it'll
right?
be like Sportscaster, but it'll be good because the mic will always be up on the person's face, which is always something. If you get people on the show that aren't used to microphones all the time, you're going to get some, it's like you got to look at them like, get the microphone up there. Yeah, get it, So pretty fucking cool. Going to get some new sound going here. I'm always getting new gear for the podcast.
Yeah, you got to upgrade, man.
Yeah, 'cause
grow or die, as they say, right?
And this is really, I just love the podcast to sound great, which is what it's really about. Marco Novakovic.
Marco, what's up, dude?
Thank you, buddy.
What's up, kid?
And where's he from? Australia? Anyway, thanks for the donation,
Good
brother.
day, buddy. Good day.
Good day, mate. I said good day. Remember that on
Of course.
on Willy Wonka?
Good day, sir.
Yeah. I said good day. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Keep the candles lit. See you Monday.